This is a Fonzie Studio podcast. Welcome to Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and every week I'll share with you a tale and ancient wisdom of the native tribes of North America. I'll be joined by my cats, Dawa and Fonzie, who will undoubtedly make their presence known at some point, so I might as well just list them as co-host. We hope you'll enjoy the tales and wisdom, raise your vibration, and enrich your life with us every week. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the 67th episode of Tales from the First Nations. I'm your host, Jay Idle. Now, last week we looked at the magic of spring, but today it's time to look at our good friend, summer. The season of swimming pools, baseball, barbecue, kids being free from summer school, and all around warm happiness. Summer is a time of abundance, as berries, game, and crops are growing or being harvested. It's a time for work and responsibility as we prepare for the cold time of the year ahead. And many tribes held ceremonies, dances, and rituals during summer to give thanks to the earth, plants, animals, and spirits. A lot of the summer stories I found were different variations on last week's story of Fisher bring spring to spare us from the perpetual winter. So we only have one story today. However, we do know a lot about the importance of summer and the summer solstice. Across the native cultures, the summer solstice symbolized peak life force because the sun is at its strongest. Growth and abundance because it was a time when crops, animals, and people were thriving. Balance and responsibility because it was an opportunity to remember the importance of living in harmony with nature. And gratitude was an important part of the season for giving thanks for warmth, light, and food. For the Plains tribes, like the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, the solstice often coincided with the sun dance, one of the most sacred ceremonies. It was a time for fasting, prayer, drumming, dancing, and sometimes piercing, depending on tribe and time period. For the Eastern Woodlands tribes, it was connected to the green corn ceremony held when corn first ripened, often near the solstice or later in the summer. Celebrations included Thanksgiving prayers, dancing and singing, feasting on new crops, and of course, there was an emphasis on gratitude to the Creator and the natural world. For the Southwest tribes, like the Hopi and Zuni, the solstice marked important moments in agriculture and ceremonial calendars. Among the Hopi, the sun's position was carefully observed using natural markers. They held ceremonies and dances to pray for rain, balance, and harmony. For the Pacific Northwest tribes, summer marked the start of salmon runs, so they held ceremonies which honored the first salmon, thanking it for sustaining the people. So, today I'd like to share an Algonquin legend about our hero, Glus Kaboa. In the long ago time, when people lived always in the early red morning, before sunrise, before the squid to neck was peopled as today, Glus Kaboa went very far north, where all was ice. He came to a wigwam. Therein he found a giant, a great giant, for he was Winter. Glus Kaboa entered, and he sat down. Then Winter gave him a pipe. He smoked, and the giant told tales of the old times. The charm was on him. It was the frost. The giant talked on and froze, and Glus Kaboa fell asleep. He slept for 6 months, like a toad. Then the charm fled, and he awoke. He went on his way, and he went to the south, and at every step it grew warmer, and the flowers began to come up and talk to him. He came to where there were many little ones dancing in the forest. Their queen was Summer. I'm singing the truth. It was Summer, the most beautiful one ever born. He caught her up. He kept her by a crafty trick. The master cut a moose hide into a long cord. As he ran away with Summer, he let the end trail behind him. They, the fairies of light, pulled at the cord, but as Glus Kaboa ran, the cord ran out. and though they pulled, he left them far away. So he came to the lodge of Winter, but now he had summer in his bosom, and Winter welcomed him, for he hoped to freeze him again to sleep. I am singing the song of summer. But this time, the master did the talking. This time, his charm was the strongest, and it wasn't long before the sweat ran down Winter's face, and he melted more and quite away, as did the wigwam. Then everything awoke, the grass grew, the fairies came out, and the snow ran down the rivers, carrying away the dead leaves. Then Glooskap left summer with him and went home. I am always happy with anyone who can triumph over winter and make the seasons warm again. I feel like a lot of animals outdoors share my sentiment, unless they are hibernating, of course. Although, to be fair, if I could hibernate, I'd change my mind. I'd wish for a very long winter. It's with respect and gratitude that I offer you my blessings, and thank you for sharing your journey with me and for sharing your time with me on the podcast. I wish you well and look forward to sharing another story with you next week. Go in peace, return in peace, and may you be well. If you enjoy the podcast, please like and review us on your podcast service so we might grow a little further. Also, feel free to reach out to us in the contact information in the episode link if there's anything you'd like to hear about on the show. Our story today comes from sacred-texts.com and can be found in the Algonquin Legends of New England by Charles G. Leland, published in 1884. For more great stories and legends, join me next week for another story right here on Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and I'll talk to you next time. The beautiful music you are listening to right now was provided by my dear friend Scott Brocklesby, and our podcast Image of the Moon was provided by Mark Lawton. We'll see you next time. All right, that's it. How'd we do, Dawa? Phones? Excellent. Then I'll share it.